Hi, this is the second attempt to make this video. The first one, I was on the balcony. The phone got too hot and it stopped working. So I had to put the phone in the fridge to cool it down. And so here I am with the second version inside where it's cooler. So I wanted to share some stories, some happy, amazing, small little stories from the last few days, starting with last Thursday. Now, last Thursday, my mood was very low because I had a target to meet, had a personal situation, very, very challenging, and I didn't think I could solve the problem that I had. And I was with a couple of my colleagues and talking about my problems. And by the end of my story, all of our energies had dropped. And one of my friends, he said, he actually told me he felt really bad now. And then I felt guilty for dropping his energy with my story and my problems. So we asked ourselves, how can we lift our energy back up again? So we started telling star stories, star memories, highlight memories. And so he asked what would be a good memory suitable for this occasion. And what came to him was this time where a friend of his was actually sick and was in a group situation, and she was actually wanted to throw up and she needed some help and support. And he physically went with her to the bathroom, be beside her as she threw up in the bathroom. And he felt happy to do it. And we were laughing and surprised at the fact that it was possible to be even happy while somebody else is having such a bad experience. And he felt happy to be helping. He felt he was giving some support to his friend, and she felt supported by that. And so after telling us, his own feeling inside had lifted, and he got the energy he needed to be that happiness for me when I was in my problem situation. Brilliant solution. So then the next, my friend, she shared her happiness about when she chose her place to live, how it was the trees around her that made her choose this house and how much she loved the trees. And she lit up telling about her happiness and love of the trees. And then it was my turn. I was already feeling uplifted and better by these two stories. And then what came to me, surprisingly, was from 30 years back, my dancing memories. And I started to talk about the gownless evening straps, sticking the rhinestones on the shoes for the competitions, the knee trembling moments in the dancing competitions, and the joy and the aliveness of dancing. And I came back to life, and we looked at each other and we thought, wow, isn't that amazing? What happened, what we observed, what we experienced. So the next day, I have a client, and she's a client who has had some surgeries and an accident and injuries and more surgeries. And so physically right now she's in recovery and feeling limited in her life and not so happy, because naturally, you know, those are difficult experiences to bear. And so the first half of the session was doing normal healing work to try to overcome the reasons why she wasn't feeling happy and couldn't do the things, put herself as a priority, and do things for her. So then halfway through, I thought, okay, let's flip this around. So I turned it around. I said, can you remember a time when you did put yourself first and you did meet your needs and you did something just for you, not responsibilities, not work, not other priorities, something just for you? And she started to tell me about a dancing memory when she went belly dancing. And this time in the studio, in front of the mirror, the teacher there, this beautiful oriental music going on, her belt of jingly bells jingling as she's shimmying her hips. And I asked her a few more questions to bring her deeper and deeper into the core and the center of this experience, until she felt this oneness, this joy, this out of her head and into the joy of being and the dancer within. And I watched this person go from like this to like this in like 5 minutes. And I was amazed. Again, once more, knowing star matrix techniques and coaches and the power of tuning into our star memories and activating this. But every time it happens, it's wow. And you can't avoid being affected by that. So here I am, lifted up again on this one. So the next day, and by the way, then she booked on the course, and that solved my immediate need problem that I had as well. So that was also amazing and a star moment for me, that how that came to be, that problem came to be solved. That's a big lesson and learning for me. So anyway, next day I'm on the Zoom with an old friend who's moved house, and I was telling her about this, what experiences I'm having, because when I booked the session with her, I was in my low state, and she said, okay, let's have a chat. So we met up, scheduled on Zoom for a chat. But by then my energy's lifted. I'm like +7, +8. And so I'm sharing with her about why. And so she was saying how these are her challenges that she also has in her life. And so instead of looking at the challenge and the problem to be overcome, again, I thought, okay, let's do the star matrix approach. So I said, can you remember a time where you did feel your feminine self? And she racked her brains, because many of us women who've been like working hard, it's kind of like a masculine energy that we might have been in for a long time. So she found a moment early in her marriage years ago, where she was gone to the country of her family, and everybody had brought gifts for her, clothes and gifts, and she was wearing this stunning white outfit, and she was smaller build at this time, and people were taking photographs of her and going, wow. And she was there in this energy, and again asking questions to tap into that energy, very savvy questions. I got her to reconnect with her feminine self, and that yes, she is beautiful, yes, she is pretty, yes, people can see that. And this I am, really, I already am feminine, is inside me. And while she was talking, answering these questions, she's yawning like mad, because this is making a big adjustment into her energy. And we did that, and we did another subject in the same way, and she felt fabulous. She felt amazing afterwards. And I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing, this star matrix. How quickly you can take somebody from being there to being there. It's literally 5 to 10 minutes of asking the right questions and accessing the right kind of energy that's already inside us. So I'm really on a high, and yes, she booked on the course as well, and so later on that day, I dropped in on a friend here locally where I am in Hurghada. I hadn't seen her for a while because of life being busy. And she was very down and depressed, and she just had a few days of being physically sick, not being able to accept the stresses around her and deal with the life as it was dealing to her at this time. And so here I am on my +8, sitting with her, and I said, well, when's the last time you did feel good? When life was good and you did feel happy? When was the last time? So she said 3 months ago. So we went back to this memory and I asked her more and more questions about it to bring this energy out of her of the happiness and the lessons, the life lessons that was in this, the wisdom of these moments, and let that be revealed to her by my questions, and then let her embody that reality and truth of who she really is underneath it all. Well, to see her energy 10 minutes later lit up, and now we're talking about, shall we do this in Hurghada? Shall we make a group for Star Matrix and bringing the light out of everybody, bringing people back to life, which is back to themselves, to activate and discover the light within yourself with Star Matrix. So we're working on a plan for that now. So I wanted to share those stories and say, I love Star Matrix. I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes other people feel. I love how easily we can feel so good with these approaches and directions and questions and framework and understanding. So I invite you also to come and have a look and come and have an experience with me. Book a session. I give you 30 minutes free session. Book it with me and let me show you your own light. Let this be activated and light you up and light up your life, and just see how much easier life can be when your energy is how it's supposed to be. So book a session on the link with me and let me see you very soon. And I have to close with a final thank you to Sylvia Hartman for her brilliance of observing this and giving us a structure and framework to dive in and access it, activate it, and bring this light out of ourselves to the world. Thank you, Sylvia Hartman. See you soon.